Shalom, this is YAHAWAH with the GMS Dallas camp, and I have Kalab here.
Shalom, Akim.
And we just doing a quick video. Salaki for the noise, and I can hear it pretty loud. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Can you hear that, Kalab?
Yeah, I can hear it, but it's not as loud as you think it is.
Okay, well, Salaki ahead of time if y'all can hear it, but, under the situation, brother, you know what I'm saying? But, hey, we still gonna push this word out. But, we just wanted, me and Kalab wanted to go into a topic, concerning the milk, going back to that milk series we were talking about, Hey, if you want to, if you want to bring that out in Romans chapter 6, verse 15,
Before we go into the lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Hashem, Yahawashi. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Hashem, Yahawashi. Love honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that do really well. Peace and love to you, brothers out there that speak His word of sincerity and truth. Blessings to the elect. So just jump right into it. This is Romans 6 and 15. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? Yahawah forbid. Can you hear me, brother?
Khan, yeah, Salakia. My bad. Read that one more time.
This is Romans chapter 6, verse 15. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law, but under grace? Yahawah forbid.
Yeah, man, so, are you going to sin because we're not under the law, but under grace? Because we are under that grace period right now. Does that give you the freedom to just do whatever the hell you want? Which is what these Christians teach, man. You go to church and be like, hey, you forgiven under Jesus Christ. Hey, that's what that gives that gives these 2/3 that mentality to where, hey, I can go to the club, I can do whatever kind of wickedness I want throughout the week, but when I come to church on Sunday, then I'm good. I just ask Jesus Christ forgiveness and I'm good, right? That's the doctrine that these Christians teach, man.
And that's funny because I was thinking today, just reading some things as well, and I was just like reading comments on the videos and just watching a few crazy videos about Christianity and stuff, and I was just saying, like you said, it's the doctrine pushes the fact that everybody, when I say everybody, can be saved if they repent, and that's not true because, like you said, you are sinning because you're under grace. Like you said, we're under that grace period, man, and you can't just sin willingly, and think that it's okay. Okay, if I just have sex with another man's wife, I can just say, Lord, just forgive me for that. If it was that easy, what I'm saying, why do Christians preach? Why do Christianity preach hell then? If everybody can be saved, what would be the purpose of hell? So why do you even preach that?
Yeah, God. You got that in Peter's? Yeah.
Let me pull it up right quick. This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 16. Hold on, I want to start at 15. No, I'll start at 16. It's free. No, matter of fact, you're right, I'm going to start at. This is 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 15. For so is the will of Yahawah that with well-doing you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men.
Right.
As free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness. Hold on. Hey, I'm doing something. I'm on the phone. This is verse 16 again. As free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servant of Yahawah.
Yeah, man, not using that cloak, not using that liberty as a cloak of maliciousness, man. Just because you in the grace don't give you the fucking liberty just to whatever the hell you want, man, which is what we going into, man. You can't just, because you so ignorant and you hearing what your pastor is saying, because he don't know nothing either, man. Just because he says that you good under Jesus, then you ain't gotta be under the law, man. You know, because that's not what Yahawashi teaching. That's what Jesus is teaching. You know, that Edomite pedophile, incest dealing, whatever the hell you want to call that devil. You know what I'm saying? That's what he teaches. You know, but that's not what the Yahawashi, the truth of the scriptures is teaching, man. If you can, real quick, actually, I'll get it real quick. The one in Matthew chapter 5, which is, the ultimate cut to these motherfuckers. The simplest one you can go to. Not the simplest, but the easiest one you can go to. This is, Salaki, go ahead.
No, it just makes it Christianity gives a false reality of like I said, like you said, you can do whatever you want, and you know what I'm saying, you can be saved if you just repent, man. I can just live honestly how the hell I want to until I'm on my deathbed. You know what I'm saying, about to croak, and I can say, Lord, forgive me for my sins, and it's like that is done away with. Everything that I've done wrong is gone. But like I said, the doctrine of Yahawashi teaches us to mortify those members, man. Put off the old man, to be born again truly. I just can't sit back and know the truth and still willingly sin, man.
Yeah, man. Especially knowing the true nature of this word, man. Like the brother said, man, you just can't willfully sin, and you after the scripture says that you can't be doing that shit. I'm gonna read this real quick. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Hey, Yahawashi didn't come to destroy the law or the prophets or anything they had to say, man. Because, hey, throughout the whole New Testament, what were they quoting? Where'd they get their understanding from?
Right, the Old Testament.
Yeah, the Old Testament, man. They were quoting the Old Testament, real strong. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what did Yahawashi come to fulfill, man? He came to fulfill prophecy. What was the New Testament and the Old Testament about, man? Or the New Testament, Salakia. It was talking about the law of sacrifice, man, and Yahawashi was the ultimate sacrifice. It wasn't talking about that, like, okay, you know what? Everything else that I just written down in the law, you know what? Just forget about it. Salakia, forget about it. But hey, now everything's all good through Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? No, that's not how it's going down, man. Because if you go back to Exodus chapter 24, I believe, when Moses was establishing the covenant with Israel, he said, he actually, as a matter of fact, let me get it real quick.
I just want I went to that word fulfilled too. You see now, you tell about the law, but to fulfill, the word fulfill means to bring to completion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To something that was promised to do. Something that was promised to happen. Salaki.
Yeah.
But that's what he said. He was here to bring the law to completion, to show you how it's done, man. He didn't say he's going to do away with it. They always want to coin the fact that, that was the Old Testament. That was the Old Testament. But like when you ask them for wisdom or something, they go straight to Proverbs. Proverbs is in the Old Testament, man.
Yeah, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes.
Psalms.
Yeah.
They quick to read from them books, but then when you bring out something in the Old Testament, that's the Old Testament. But y'all read from the Old Testament too, man.
Yeah, man. You bring out the dietary law, and then they'll be like, no, that was done away with. We ain't got to do that no more. Hey, through Jesus, everything was cleansed. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but then they bring up Proverbs 3 and 5 that said, lean, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not to thy own understanding. But that's what you're doing. You lean to your own understanding, and you're reading out of the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So you can't tell me that the Old Testament is not valid, because it's definitely valid.
Come on.
Because the word Bible itself it means two testaments. So you can't say that you're reading the Bible if you don't read both testaments. And people are like, well, the Old Testament is just for, it gives us a moral conduct on how to live. It's just told about the stories and all this. No, bro, it's all fit together, man. Like we brought out in the last lesson, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, line upon line, here a little, there a little, man.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I'm gonna read this real quick. This
Yeah.
is Exodus chapter 24, verse 3, right? And Moses came and told the people all the words of the Lord and all the judgments, and all the people answered with one voice and said, all the words which the Lord had said we shall do. So they agreed. You know, they were like, okay, everything that Yahweh said we gonna do. You know, they agreed to it, right? You know, and Moses wrote all the words of the Lord and rose up early in the morning and builded an altar under the hill and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings, oxen unto the Lord, right? And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant, which is his word, and read in the audience of the people. And they said, all that the Lord had said we will do and be obedient, right? Which is what we just talked about, right? Which is what I had just mentioned. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which the Lord had made with you concerning all these words, man. So the covenant, you know, the YAHAWASHI coming back, you know, and dying for the sins of Israel is talking about that blood sacrifice. You know, talking about that sacrifice. You know how we used to have to sacrifice you know, different animals and stuff for our sins. Yeah, that's what that's talking about, man. Because if you read Leviticus chapter 17, it says that it is in the blood. As a matter of fact, let me get that real quick, you know, because that's what it's talking about. You know, it's talking about that sacrifice. You know, when it goes into the New Testament, it's not talking about how, you know, everything was done away with and the laws don't matter anymore because Jesus is the, you know what I'm saying? It's not talking about that. You know, it's talking about the law of sacrifice mainly. You know?
Right. That's what's done away with because Yahweh was the ultimate sacrifice, man. You know, like they went into how that when you sacrifice the lamb that you didn't break his legs, and you know, in the New Testament when they went to get Yahweh out of the tomb, you know, to break his legs, he wasn't there. You know. So that lets you know that he was a sacrificial lamb. That was the last sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice. We don't have to sacrifice animals anymore, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that all the laws of the Old Testament are done away with. You know? So yeah, we cannot sin willfully, man. We have to follow those laws to the best of our ability, man.
God, I'm gonna read this real quick. This is Leviticus 17, verse 11. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given unto you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that makes an atonement for the soul, man. Because yeah, you know, it's the blood that makes an atonement for our souls, man. That's why we were giving sacrificing, you know. Hey, but Israel was being so wicked, man. They were premeditating on sacrifice, you know. So ultimately, the Most High had to do away with that, you know.
Right. I got like 4 lambs that I'm gonna go and sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Like when I do this or when I do that. That's how they do today, though.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm gonna go repent. You know, right after I do that because I don't wanna I don't wanna do too much bad at one time because. You know, like, come on, bro. You can't premeditate your wickedness, man.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
And already have your sacrifices in hand. Like, that's like you said, Lord, Yahweh forbid, man.
Yeah, man. Khan, man. That's what they ultimately doing today, man. They still premeditating on sin, man. They still putting Yahweh back on that cross. You know? They, you know, they'll be like, okay, you know what? Fuck it, you know, I know Jesus, you know, I got Jesus on my back, so fuck it, you know, I'm gonna go fuck this nigga, you know, I'm gonna go fuck this dude's bitch, and then, fuck it, I'm gonna go to church tomorrow, on Sunday, worshiping the sun god, and then I'll just ask Jesus for forgiveness, and I'm all good, fuck it, you know what I'm saying? Which is, you know,
it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
That's how they feel like, okay, man, it's all good, man. It's just, I can basically, you know what I'm saying, do what I want, and I can repent. That's how they make it seem like you can live a life of doing whatever the hell you want. Like you can literally, like bestiality, pedophilia, homosexuality, transgenderism, all this other stuff. You can do all of this combined, and then, like you said, you could just repent for it and you good. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like, cause you said that your Lord is all powerful. Like, where's the balance? Where's that punishment? Everybody say, oh, God is all love. Like, but where's the balance? If he's all love, then he's not balanced. You know? Like, they're sinning willfully, man. It's going to get a lot of y'all killed on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all going to get killed on the spot, man. Thinking that you can just do it and repent later on. Like, some of y'all going to get killed on the spot, bro.
Come on, man. Hey, if you were good on the blood of Jesus Christ, pretty much going around saying, I can do this, but then if I ask Jesus Christ for forgiveness and I'm good, then why are people still dying today? Why are people still being put to death by the Most High? But they asked Jesus for, you got Edomite Christians going around saying, in churches going around saying that they believe in Jesus and they don't, pretty much trying to live good and all whatever they deem as good. But hey, I knew people at the church that my mom goes to that died of tumors, cancer, at the church that my mom goes to. But they were so-called Christians, so-called good people. What's up with that?
Right.
If they were, what's up with why didn't Jesus show them mercy? Why they asked for forgiveness every day? So supposedly they prayed every day. They sung psalms because they go up there to church. They singing psalms in the books, them hymn books or whatever they're called. The hymns, the psalms or whatever they call them. Singing songs every day on Sunday. Praying and having Sunday church and all that. What's up with that? If Christianity was the truth, then why are Christians still dying today? Why are they not surrounded by the hedge of protection?
Right. They always say that they're saved already. Like, if that's the case, then like you said, why are they still flatlining? Why are they still dying? Why are these so-called Christians still getting raped? So bad stuff happened to them, dying of cancer. All this other stuff, like you said, they was under their hegemon, already saved. And why are they dying? It's such horrible deaths, man. People are getting raped.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Getting their head chopped off, getting shot in the face, like all this extra stuff. Like, but y'all keep saying the fact that, we're already saved. So you telling me that person that just got shot in the face was saved from destruction.
Yeah.
But destruction happened to him.
And they being shot in the face in the churches.
Right.
Kids being raped in the churches by pedophiles, man.
That's your safe haven, but God, brother, that's supposed to be your safe haven, man. That's supposed to be where nothing bad happens to you. It's supposed to be, like you said, supposed to be a hospital for the sick. But for your churches is where, like you said, you got priests that are having sex with children. You got people getting shot in church. Churches being burned down. All kinds of stuff going on in the church, man. Gay pastors.
Yeah, man. Now, shit, are we saying that you gotta follow the whole law, according to the whole law? No. You know what I'm saying? But you still gotta rehearse them righteous acts according to Joshua. There's a balance to it. If you have the opportunity or the chance to not eat pork, then don't. That's what we're saying, man. Like, you have the option. Yeah, you could eat pork if you want to, but at the end of the day, what does the scripture say? Don't eat pork. So shit, I'm not gonna eat pork. Keep the Sabbath. But can I keep the Sabbath every day? Because I work every day. Of course there'll be certain days where I'm off and then I can, but most of the time brothers can't. But once they get off work, they try it to the best of their abilities. That's what we're talking about.
That's what it's about, though. Like, everybody's you trying to follow stuff to your, like, people, like, that's the thing with Christians. They'll follow worldly traditions and laws to their best ability before they follow the laws of the YAHAWASHI to their best ability. You know what I'm saying? They'll do marriage, all this other extra stuff to their best ability. Love people, do unto others as you do unto you. All that other extra rules and stuff that's not even biblical. You know what I'm saying? But it turns around and you ask them to not eat pork. The Lord died for that already. Like brother said, granted, some food has pork in it that you have no idea about. Probably everything. But if you see it on the pack, says pork, don't do it, man. If you got the option of saying, no, to having sex with another man's wife. Yeah, do not have sex with another man's wife. If you got the option to say turn it down, turn it down. You don't have to do that, man. Like that's laws.
Yeah, gone. You know, and that's what that's why we deal through the spirit. You know, we deal with the spirit, man. We discern things with the scriptures and everything through the spirit, man. We ain't on no carnal shit. We don't be thinking too much about one scripture, thinking like, you know what, what I'm saying, like, but there's a lot of scriptures in this word that's a stumbling blocks, man, and people just be thinking too hard on it, man. They'll be like, no, this is what this thinks, no, or this is what this says, man. This is what it says according to how it's written. I'll be like, no, man, you gotta be spiritual about it. You gotta discern things a certain way. You can't just read it and then think like, okay, you know what it says. It says, hey, Acts chapter 11 or chapter 10, talking about how that Peter had that vision about how the food was made clean, all the unclean foods were made clean. Be like, you know what? Oh shit, hey, food made clean, so we good, right? No, man, he was having a vision of talking about the Gentiles. How they gonna be brought back into the fold, pretty much. Just a quick breakdown on that. But I'm just making an example. You can't just read these scriptures, carnally minded and think that you're gonna get the understanding, man. You gotta be spiritual about it, man. That's what we saying about these commandments. You gotta discern spiritually and know which ones you can and can't follow.
Like mixed fabric.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why sinning willfully. That, like, I cannot doctor mixed fabric. I don't have the ability to make my own clothes. You know what I'm saying? If I did, of course, but I don't have the ability to do that yet. I don't have the time or the apparatus to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not sinning willfully when I went with mixed fabric. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we're talking about. Sinning willfully gonna get some of y'all killed because y'all don't know how to think on a spiritual level. Like I say, y'all read on the carnal level, y'all think on the carnal level, y'all live carnally. So when the time and when the time comes to think spiritually, you can't do it.
Yeah, man, and that goes into into not being over righteous over much, man. Because hey, you could go to somewhere and pay a lot of money to make all your clothes one fabric, but I mean, brothers ain't got the money or the time to be doing stuff like that. So hey, shit, you ain't, that's if you're gonna be doing that and then pressuring other brothers to do that shit, then you being over righteous, man. Because not everybody can do that stuff, That's why you gotta discern through the spirit what is best at that moment in time. You know what I'm talking about? No, you can't just be going around feeling like, hey, there's some polythizerac carbonide in that pizza you eating, right? You know what I'm saying? And brothers be like, what is that? And be like, and then the brother be like, oh, you know what? There might be some traces of pork in there, even though it's not the case. But hey, there's factories that mix this and that, talking about, pretty much, being over righteous, trying to be like, there's might be some pork in there, but I'm not too sure because I read this article, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, there's bullshit in everything, There,
it said in Ezekiel that our food shall be defiled amongst the Gentiles.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, fuck, you can't just keep the whole law, man. It's impossible. That's why you gotta do the best that you can according to your ability,
And like I said, that's what we're going into basically, man. That you can't sin willfully. You gotta it's a spiritual thing, man. Shall we sin? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, because we're not under the law. But under grace, Yahweh forbid. Just because we're under grace, man, you cannot live how you want. Like you said, you cannot use that as a cloak of maliciousness, man.
Yep.
You have to do these laws to the best of your abilities.
Yeah,
rehearse those righteous acts, man. Brothers, when you come into this truth and you learn the stuff that like you said, the laws that you can keep and become more spiritual and see how things work. And, you know what I'm saying? So you look outside and you realize how much of a nigga you was, man. Because you all this stuff that you could have stopped, man. You know what I'm saying? But YAHAWASHI put you in a place where you can do that. You know what I'm saying? You can put off that old man. You can modify those members, man. You know? So like brother Mike Oliver too today, be thankful for that, man.
Oh yeah. God. Yeah. That's right.
You gotta be thankful, man. That's all I got, brother.
God, yeah, me too, man. But hey, I want to say Salakia, you know, if I was unorganized on, you know, but, you know, because over there, you could hear that there was a lot of noise and stuff like that. So I was kind of, you know what I'm saying, you know, so Salakia on that. But, hey, the water for Kalab, you know. But, hey, with that, I'm going to say Shalom. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai. No double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and salutations to the Akim scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, keeping this truth and sincerity. You know, and with that, Shalom.
Shalom.